Chapter 4, The Camping Trip. Part 2, Til the Sunrise. Around the embers, the hour has passed. 2 pairs of eyes, one of emerald, one of amber, gaze straight at each other at last. With all their souls, they pray it's not too late to cease the endless curse of hate. Look, it stopped raining! Sakura bolted up and looked out. Sure enough, it was damp and gray, but at least the storm was not brewing. Wow, it really did! I wonder how everyone else endured the storm, Tomeo said. She was tired of sitting on the damp stone floor without anything to tape. Well, we better get out and start finding our way. It would get dark if we wait too long, Syaoran said. However, I think that it's not wise for us all to go out. 2 of us should go out and try to find the track, then come back and get the others. That saves everyone some trouble. Besides, I don't think that Erika's leg is good enough to wander about on. I think I should be one of the ones to go out, because I'm pretty sure I can find my way back easily, and my navigation skills are pretty good. Who else will come with me? Everyone except Syaoran murmured in agreement at the plan. I don't want to go out in the mud. I'll stay here, Melanie announced. Well, I'm not crazy about going out in the mud myself. Erika is hurt, so that leaves Lee-kun or Sakura-chan to go with you, Tomeo said. Syaoran scowled. He would hate to face Syaoran. Actually, I would prefer having Syaoran-kun to stay with me. You see, he's really good at healing and bandaging wounds, and if my leg gets worse, it would be better to have him with me than Sakura, Erika said, giving a significant look at Syaoran. Okay, settled then. You don't mind finding the track with me, do you, Sakura? Syaoran was secretly pleased with the arrangement himself. Oh, huh? Yeah, that's fine, Sakura said, had been too busy fuming as she clenched her fist. She was boiling. Syaoran-kun indeed. Erika barely knew him, and it took me almost a year to call him by his name. Now it's back to Lee-kun. Well, she... Hey, wait, Syaoran-kun, I'm coming! Grabbing her bag, she followed Syaoran out of the cave, almost slipping on the mud. Erika smiled smugly. Syaoran was busily crumpling up his assignment paper, thinking, he planned it, that creep. Syaoran planned to go out with Sakura alone. As they trotted down the rocky mountain, searching for a path, Sakura gazed sideways at Syaoran. He certainly is handsome, with the straight nose and melting smile. I like the way his dark hair flows into a ponytail. Not many guys can get away with that hairstyle yet. He looks good in it. Plus, he's tall, athletic, smart, and well-mannered. Syaoran turned to her. His hazel eyes were very startling, though. Those golden specks make him look so mysterious, as if he has some big secret. I guess I hardly know anything about him. She cleared her throat and gathered enough courage to start a conversation. So, where did you live before you came to Tomeda District? Sakura asked. Oh, here and there. My sister and I traveled around all over the world before we came back here. Came back? Did you live here before? Huh? Only a short while when we were young. Actually, I lived in here another lifetime. That is my first time back in this form, but there's no use in telling you that. Well, if you traveled a lot, you must miss all your friends. It'll be interesting to go to many places and learn all sorts of things, but I would hate to part with all the people. Parting with people always hurts me. Friends? What friends? More like betrayers. People who have hurt us before, though. Erika and I only exist in search of vengeance. Instead, Syaoran smiled and said, Well, I guess that might be for you, though it never troubled me, now that I think about it. It's only Erika and me. We have each other. What about your parents? Parents? We don't need any. Not since we were born. Only the servants. Sakura looked down. I'm sorry, flooding me with all these questions and blabbering on about private things. I'm so inconsiderate. At this, Syaoran grinned. Don't worry. I don't mind at all. It's only predictable that you'd be curious. Plus, I enjoy talking to you. Looking up again, Sakura smiled back brightly. I just hope that you stay here a long time and not leave. We can all become friends. Syaoran halted and gazed at the smiling girl. She was no different from any other girl, except that she was supposed to have some of the greatest powers of magic in the modern world. Also, she was related to them, and the person to take revenge upon. Yet the enigma of her enchanting emerald eyes and the lithe form made him grasp his chest, where there should be a beating heart in a usual person. "Don't worry, I won't leave this place for a long time, not before you and your protector are gone." Sakura stopped as well. "Is anything wrong, Eron-kun?" No, I'm fine. Yeah, we can all become friends." The word tasted bitter in his mouth. I think we should go this way." He pointed to the wrong way, on purpose. "Really? I thought it was that way." "Oh well, maybe I'm wrong." Sakura followed. Slyly, Eron grimaced. "The action starts now." He snapped his fingers. Syaoran bolted up, letting all the paper and materials clutter to the cave floor. "What's the matter, Syaoran-kun?" Arika asked. Timeo met his glance with questioning eyes. He nodded gravely. Sakura was in danger. "Eron-kun, are you sure we're going the right way? It's so dense and thick here, and I can't see through the bushes, and it's so slippery because of the rocks." Sakura brushed aside another branch that whipped her face. "I'm so sorry. It's just a little further. Do you want me to help you? Here. I'll try to clear the bushes out of your way. Really, I should have let you stay in the cave. This is no place for a girl to wander through." For a moment, Sakura lost her footing on the bumpy ground, entangled with tree roots and shrubs. It was almost as if the rock beneath her feet were alive. Quickly, Eron grabbed her hand and steadied her. Sakura blushed. He's so gentle and polite. Even after she steadied herself, he didn't let go of her hand. Her heart pounded harder. "What's the matter with me?" Awkwardly, Sakura said, It's okay now. I have my balance." Eron looked confused for a moment, then dropped her hand with a startled, "Oh." They resumed walking through the tangle of woods. The rocks underneath Sakura moved. Together with the loose stones, Sakura fell and tumbled down the steep side of the slope, skidding faster and faster. A disheveled cloud of dust arose with dislodged rocks. In some distance, she could hear Eron call out, "Sakura!" But soon, his figure disappeared. The rocks cut into her skin, and her body was getting scraped from the sliding down the rough mountain on her side, falling and falling. Occasional branches whipped at her. Clenching her eyes, Sakura waited to hit the treacherous bottom. This is the end. Syaoran felt like screaming from frustration. He knew that some force was out there, and Sakura was facing it all by herself, yet he couldn't just go out to help her, because he couldn't arouse suspicion from Marika. Besides, he didn't even know where she was. Meilin was frowning too. Eron and Sakura had been gone an awful long time, yet she didn't know what danger Sakura was in. Meanwhile, Arika smiled smugly. Let's hope the Sakura would be destroyed. Some time later, Sakura opened her eyes and blinked several times. Where was she? Then she remembered. She had slid off the side of a steep slope. Well, at least she seemed reasonably alive. I hurt too much to be dead. At once she tried to get up, but fell down on her back. Ouch! I ache all over. Her whole body felt bruised and cut up into pieces. Well, in a way I am shredded. Her clothes were ripped and torn, and while she had lost one side of her shoe, the red tie around her neck had become undone, and her shirt was stained with blood. Forcefully, she heaved herself up again. For a moment she wavered. Then she stood. Dizzily, she stumbled over to a tree and leaned against the trunk. She felt her head. Ow. I think I have a concussion. If she had been more alert, she would have felt the rocks heading her direction. At the last moment, she turned around to see the stones hurtling at her. Stifling a scream, she tried to run, with her bare foot blistering with sharp rocks. The whole ground of the mountain was unstable and continued to wobble and contort so that she couldn't walk straight. Is the ground actually moving, or is it because I hurt my head? A stone pounded on her shoulder. Wincing in pain, she continued to run, ignoring the large purple bruise swelling up. As she came up to the edge of the mountain, she halted. This won't do. I have to fight back. She grabbed the necklace from under her shirt and drew out the key. Key that hides the forces of the stars, show your true shape to me. I, Sakura, command you under contract. Release! Deftly, she blocked the rocks with her staff. Now, what am I going to fight it with? This won't last for long. I know, I'll freeze it. But before she could use the card, she flayed, and rocks hurled at her, full speed. She dropped her staff and inched back, taking one step too far. The rocks crumbled underneath her, and she fell off the cliff. No! Syaoran gasped. Sakura, I've got to get to her. To the three girls, he said, you guys, I'll be right back, okay? Just stay here. Then he ran out of the cave. Erika called out, Wait! Where are you going? Don't go! She frowned. Ugh, it wasn't going the way she had planned. How does he know when she's in danger? A few seconds later, Tomeo slipped out as well. I'll be right back too. She then ran out with her video camera. Of course she couldn't miss the action. Syaoran panted as he blindly ran through the forest. Gosh, where is she? He just ran directly to where he could feel her aura, ignoring all the branches and brushes in the way. I have to get to her. Desperately, Sakura grabbed with one hand at a root sticking out from the side of the cliff. There. She dangled helplessly. Gravel and rock poured down on her and pounded down. Her hand cramped and ached as stone bits cut into it. I can't hold on much longer. My arm. I can't hold on to this root any longer. It's slipping. There's no one here to help me. No, I've got to hold on. If only I had my staff, but I dropped it somewhere on the top. Now there's only a few seconds left. I have to hold on. Slowly, Sakura lost her grip and let go of the root. Now I'm going to fall. Anyone! Oto-san! Oni-chan! Syaoran! She let go. It's too late. It can't be the end, can it? Around the ashes, the legacy of the twins stand, ready with 100 more biting lashes. Yet if love walks hand in hand and never lets go during the perilous fight, it may overcome the impossible with its might. Sakura, no! At that moment, a hand grasped hers. Rocks and sand tumbled down into the far-off bottom, while Sakura dangled in the air, with a supple hand supporting her whole body weight. Her heart wrenched, and she opened her clenched eyes. After she caught her breath, she stammered, Is that you, Lee-kun? It can't be. Am I already dead? Syaoran managed a weak grin and said, Silly, it's me. Until now, I never believed there was something called just in time. I thought it was only in books. Now, I believe in anything and thank my lucky stars. Here now, hold on. I'll get you up now. Give me your other hand. Sakura thought her breath would stop altogether, but she tried to remain calm and lifted up her hand. Her head was swirling, and she refused to look down at the distant bottom. Just then, the rocks renewed their attack and hurtled themselves at Syaoran's back. His hold on her hand loosened, then tightened again. Come on, give me your other hand. Syaoran's voice was strained, yet composed, as he reached down his other hand. A slab of rock furrowed out on the side of the cliff and grabbed Sakura's leg, trying to pull her down. Syaoran's body was pressed down on the edge of the cliff, and he started to slide down as well, but he didn't let her go. I'll never let you go. Never. Never. I still remember that time when I let go in that same situation and I thought I lost you. Luckily, Keraberos saved you that time, but now it's only me. This time, I'll never let you go, and I'll never let you out of my sight. Just let me go. You're going to fall as well if you keep holding on to me. It's okay. I'll survive somehow. Sakura could see the strain that Syaoran was under. Most people wouldn't have been able to endure it so far. No, Sakura. I'll never let you go. Just hold on tight and I'll get you safe. Trust me. Sakura looked up at Syaoran's determined face as he clenched his teeth tight. Swallowing a lump in her throat, she whispered, Thank you, Syaoran. She would fight to live as well. With new vigor, she kicked at the stone snake which grabbed at her ankle. Her other shoe and knee sock both slipped off. Taking the opportunity, she tread on the rock and managed to throw up her other arm, which Syaoran deftly caught. Syaoran wrapped his legs around a tree trunk at the edge of the cliff so that he wouldn't be dragged down by Sakura's weight. By then, his back was numb to the rocks pounding at it, and his only focus was helping Sakura up. Here, I managed to get my foot on a hold on the side of the cliff. If you hold on to my arms, I'll be able to come up. When Sakura was almost up, another rock snake grabbed her ankle. Yet Syaoran grabbed her tighter and boosted Sakura up to the top. She sighed in relief and collapsed beside him, trying to catch her breath. I can't believe I'm on solid ground again. As I dangled from the cliff, I wasn't even terrified. I was completely blank. What might have happened if he didn't come? I don't want to think about it. He seemed so composed up there, but now I can see that he is sweat-soaked and trembling. Then she got up again tiredly. We have to seal this thing. Syaoran stood up as well and moaned because his back was one big mass of bruises. He picked up Sakura's staff and handed it to her. Another attack of sharp rocks came at them. With a fist, Syaoran started to punch them off, and they burst. Ouch! Doesn't that hurt? Here, I'll use the freeze. She drew out another card. Quickly, she swerved around at the renewal of attack. Freeze! Immediately, everything froze, including Syaoran. Then she sealed it. Spirit of dark forces, I, Sakura, command you. Return to new shape of contract. Sakura, card! All the surroundings returned to normal, and another card landed in her hand. Syaoran cracked from the ice. Hey, you could have spared me, you know, he shouted. Sweat dropping, she said, Hoi, my mistake. Here, you can have this card. The Rocky. She handed over the card decorated with a rock snake surrounded by hurtling rocks. No, it's okay. You have it. No, you have it. I have a card called the Stone anyway, not to mention the Earthy. Anyway, what's the difference between them? Well, the Stone turns things into stone. The Earthy dishevels the ground, while the Rocky hurdles rock and moves around rock. Oh, I guess your level of education was better. Still, you have it. No, you keep it. I don't want it. Uh-oh, another argument. But it was worth going through half the woods to tape it. Tomeo's sweat dropped from a tree. Now that Sakura was safe, she was relieved. Well, they've come a long way since Syaoran tried to take away the cloud cards from her. Now they're fighting by offering them to each other. Man, did these two even realize that they called each other by their names again? They both kept shoving the card back and forth. With Sakura's great persistence, Syaoran ended up with the card. Eran, why didn't you make the Rocky more powerful? We could have ended Sakura. Dear sister, it is too early. We can play with them first, and then make them suffer twice as much. Our power is still weak, but it is getting stronger. Soon enough, it'll be stronger than ever. Eran then looked sad for a moment. It's a pity, isn't it? What? That we couldn't conquer them? No. Do you notice anything different about those two? So, what is your point? You're acting very strange, Eran. Never mind. It's just nonsense. Well, we did make them suffer a lot. You should see how they look right now. Awful. Eran broke out laughing, yet his eyes were sad. Well, I think we better find shelter and wait till the morning before we try and find our way back. It's getting dark, and we are more lost than ever. Syaoran brushed the dirt off his clothes and groaned because of his back. Ugh. I guess we can just rest under a tree or something, Sakura said. Just then her stomach rumbled. She groaned. Ugh. Thinking about it, I haven't had anything to eat since this morning. Hoi! What if there are ghosts in the wood? No, 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 no. And what if we never find our way out of here? We could be completely lost and fade into skeletons, like those people in the ghost story. We will never be found, and... Syaoran put on an aghast, overacting face. Whee! Jeez, I'm just joking. What I worry about is all the bushes and cuts we have. Then Syaoran looked slightly amused. Man, you look awful. Sakura scowled. Thanks a lot. It's not like you look all that hot either. Having been through all the events that day, Sakura was in pieces. Both of her feet were bare, and her vest was gone. Most of her skirt was ripped into shreds by branches and rock, splattered with some dry blood, while her hair tangled loose down her back. Her shorts weren't that much better, not to mention all the cuts and bruises and bramble and scratches and dirt, and yet she added with great enthusiasm, counting off her fingers. Actually, considering that I had been caught in a storm, gone through a thick forest, slipped down more than half the mountain, almost fell off a cliff, not to mention being attacked by rocks with a concussion on my head and being lost, I'm in great condition to be at least alive. Humph. Always optimistic, aren't you? At least I have all my articles of clothing on me. How are you going to walk barefooted? And, I think you better cover yourself up some more, Syaoran said as he raised an eyebrow at Sakura's torn shirt. Here, have my jacket. Gratefully, she accepted the loose jacket, which was only slightly ragged, and put it on. Thanks. It's okay. Come on, let's find a place to stay at. It's dark now. Soon they settled under a great oak tree. Sakura gathered the sticks, and Syaoran made the crackling campfire. Look, here's a little stream, Sakura exclaimed as she immediately rolled up the jacket sleeves and started washing her face. Both of them washed off most of the grimy dirt off their faces, hands, and minor cuts, which were extremely refreshing. Wailing, Sakura shouted, Please, I'll die of hunger. Any food out there? Well, it won't do for you to die now, after all that hardship I had to save you. Are you that desperate? Syaoran asked, bemused. Yes. Syaoran took off his shoes, then his socks. He then rolled up his pants and sleeves. What are you doing? There's a stream nearby. So? A stream means fish. Fish! Yep. Yummy, slithering, smelly fish. You did say you were desperate. But, so fish it is. I'll catch them with my hands. Carelessly, Syaoran stepped into the icy brook and immediately caught silvery, slimy fish by clasping his hands over them. Wrinkling her nose, Sakura shook her head and reluctantly decided to help. Pretty soon, she was holding in her hands a steaming fish, covered over the campfire with a stick and wrapped in some herbs and plants that she had found. With a bunch of wild berries, not the poisonous ones, it was a fairly good meal. Sakura and Syaoran wolfed down the flaky white meat as if they'd never eaten anything more delicious. You know, Syaoran-kun? Yeah? The fish isn't that bad. See, I told you, you'd eat anything when you're starving. But it's just the eyes. I just can't stand seeing the bulging fish eye. For a while, they were silent and stared into the fire. The only noise was the hooting of owls and occasional rustling of the wild animals. Hugging Syaoran's jacket tighter around her, Sakura tried to stifle a moan. Oh, really, I'm not used to sliding down the mountains, plus almost falling off a cliff. All the bruises and cuts I have burn like fire. Plus my head feels so wobbly. It's so hard just to sit up. My shoulder is throbbing because I got hit by rocks. She looked up at Syaoran, whose eyes were cast down. I wonder how he's faring right now. He got hit by many rocks trying to keep me from falling, so he shouldn't be feeling much better, yet he's not complaining. I should be brave, too, and try not to complain either. You are so stupid, Syaoran said suddenly. What? If you're hurt a lot, you should tell me, not just keep quiet. Well, I'm stupid, too. I should have looked after all your injuries first. I'm in a bad enough condition myself. Think how wounded you must be. For a moment, Sakura stared at him confused. How did he know that I'm injured? Then she felt the side of her head, wet, which meant blood. He glared at himself and half at her. Oh, how could I have not noticed before? You must have lost a lot of blood, since it hasn't been bandaged earlier. For a moment, he fumbled around for some sort of bandage. Finding none, he sighed and took off his shirt. Sakura gasped. Really? It's okay. You don't have to use your shirt for a bandage. My head is fine. Narrowing his eyes, he asked, Do you see any other suitable bandage? No. Then, I guess it'll have to be my shirt. We certainly can't use your shirt or my jacket, can we? No. And I'm sure you don't want to use my socks. And anyway, it's too small. With this, Syaoran proceeded to tear up the cotton shirt into strips of bandage. Soon, Sakura's head, shoulder, and ankle were bandaged. There were still several more strips left over from his shirt. Sakura winced at all the cuts that were now revealed on Syaoran's back. It's all 'cause of me. If I didn't fall off, he wouldn't have been trying to rescue me. She blurted out, You have to bandage your back. It's all bruised and cut up. It doesn't matter. Go to sleep now. No, you're hurt because of me. I can't stand it. Here, I'll bandage it for you. Sakura gathered the bandage and smoothed it out. I'm fine. It's none of your business. Syaoran tried to turn around, then winced because his shoulder ached. Without further ado, Sakura moved beside him and placed a piece of wet cloth to gently wipe his cuts and bloodstains. Funny, if this was a year ago, the sight of blood would have made me nauseous. Now, it's the least of importance. Well, who would have ever dreamed that I would be in such a situation anyway, bandaging Syaoran's back? She proceeded to bandage his back tightly and ended with tucking the loose ends in. He flinched when her hand touched a slash on his back. Carefully, she smoothed out the bandage on his back. Why is she doing this for me? Why would she care whether I'm hurt or dead? Syaoran blurted out, Why? Sakura stared blankly. He continued, Why are you doing this for me? I'm fine by myself. You don't have to nurse over me like some sort of invalid. Looking down, she said, In the first place, you got hurt while saving me, and I want to do at least this in return. Besides, you're my friend, or at least I count on you so. It hurts me when you're hurt. At this, her voice cracked. I can't start crying now. I'm not a baby, she continued. You're always helping me. I want to help you too. Sakura bit her tongue. She would make no references to the past, though. The past is the past. Maybe because of the exhaustion from the harsh day, or maybe because of the injuries on Syaoran's back, a tear plopped down, soaking through Syaoran's bandages. What am I doing? I am so stupid. She quickly wiped her tears with the back of her hand. Syaoran turned around and looked concerned, trying to reach out a hand and say something. Instead, Sakura interrupted. No, I'm not going to cry and be weak. There are so many dangers out there, and somehow I have wound up in the middle of them. I ask, why me? Why not someone else? But I have decided to accept my role and try my best. Sometimes it's hard, and I have wanted to give up, but no. I'm going to face whatever obstacles come along. Look how far I've come with the support of my friends. Even though there's a new enemy, even if there are days worse than this, I won't cry. She swallowed a sob. Suddenly, Syaoran clasped her into a tight hug, squeezing his arms around her. She gasped. Then he whispered into her ears, Why do you always try to exceed yourself? Crying doesn't make you weak. Though I don't want to admit this, sometimes I admire your persistence and ability to go on. So cry hard as you want. When you're exhausted and tired from all the hardships you face, it will make you feel better. Sakura's tears continued to well out. But, Syaoran paused. Oh, God, I can't believe I almost lost you. Still, you are safe. Here with me, he thought. Don't ever cry because you feel lonely. Because you're not alone, Sakura. Leaning her head against his warm shoulder, Sakura wept until no tears were left. I am not alone, Syaoran. After a long silence, she said, Thank you. I don't even know why I'm crying. Now look what I've done. I've gotten your bandages all wet. It's all right. Thanks for the bandage. Now stop worrying and try to sleep, he said gruffly. With a small smile, Sakura glanced sideways at Syaoran, who was crouching and trying to rub his bare arms. He's so nice. Her bandaged head seemed funny, but the blood had gradually soaked up and stopped. She felt better now that Syaoran's wounds were better. Syaoran?
Yeah?
Aren't you cold?
No.
Do you want your jacket back?
No.
With a sigh, Sakura leaned against the wide tree trunk and closed her eyes. What I've been through today is probably one of the most dangerous experiences. I really thought I was going to die. I shouldn't be relieved right now since we're still lost, but nothing seems to matter anymore. Not even that we are hurt, lost, with no food, hardly any suitable clothing, and we don't even know when we'll be found. I wonder how Syaoran came just in time. Was it chance? Oni-chan said that there was no such thing as chance. Thinking about it, I actually called Syaoran today instead of Lee-kun. Did he notice or mind? And he called me Sakura. For some strange reason, she suddenly felt like crying again. He was so caring and gentle. And he said that he admired me. His arms are always so supporting, ready to lean on when I am worn out. Maybe that is why I like him so much. Gradually, she nodded off. Syaoran gazed at her sleeping form, not minding that his shirt had been sacrificed as a bandage.
In a way, I'm not the Syaoran that I used to be.
the little kid who used to like Sakura, making an idiot of himself, is gone. Those times seem so far away now. I have changed since I went to Hong Kong. And she has too. It seems as if I'm getting to know her all over again. Why do I bother so much with her? I can't seem to help it. I try to distance from her, God knows why, but it's so hard. No wonder she wept after all the hardships today. Why is all this happening to us anyway? Wake up, it's morning! Sakura was extremely enthusiastic and buoyant as she shook Syaoran. She was trying to cover up her breakdown yesterday, despite the aching and pain from her wounds and the stiff neck from sleeping outdoors. She was feeling quite blithe. Crinkly, Syaoran blinked and stretched. Ugh, I didn't sleep all last night, and now that I finally did, you wake me up again? The sun's not even up yet. So, it's still morning. Don't you hear the birds chirping and the clear dawning sky? Taking a deep breath of the tangy mountain air with the fresh scent of pine and earth, she sighed. Blissfully. Shading her eyes with her hands, she looked into the distance. Look! The sun's going to rise soon. It's going to be beautiful. Syaoran also stood and gazed into the distance as the sky turned from dusk to rosy pink, then stared at Sakura's joyful face. Hey, do you want to see something? Follow me. He led her to the high mountain edge. As they emerged from the woods, Sakura gave a gasp at the gorgeous view. Spread wide across the mountain peaks tinted crimson with the fiery sunrise. It was like seeing the whole world transformed. As the blazing light crept through the dark, as the dazzling sun rose out from the luscious green mountains, vivid colors emerged throughout the whole valley. Sakura grabbed Syaoran's arm, jumping up and down. It's wondrous, Syaoran-kun. She didn't even notice that she was speaking his name. So you like it? Although we had some troubles here, I thought this cliff would have a great view and fine weather. Guess I was right. I love it. Seeing such beautiful things makes me want to fly. She stretched out her arms and was standing dangerously near the edge. Well, don't go jumping off cliffs. I'm not going to risk my neck to save you again. Sakura turned around with a smile as radiant as the sunshine, and at that moment the golden sun was shining directly behind her and highlighted the wisp of her hair that danced crazily around her face. Instead of watching the view, Syaoran watched her blithe figure. As she stood at the edge of the cliff, the whole world radiated behind her. It's a new morning. For the first time, his scowl eased and the corners of his eyes were peaceful. He almost looked like another person. Sakura caught the almost wistful expression which she never saw before. You called me Sakura yesterday, she suddenly said. Yeah? What's so special about that? Your name is Sakura, and my name is Syaoran. A perfectly fine name. My father named me Small Wolf, since wolves are always lonely, though they don't show it on the outside. But Sakura thought all about the while when they didn't call each other's names, after he came back from Hong Kong. You asked me before, wasn't it an agreement? The corner of his mouth curved up. But why is it so hard for me to say your name again? It only springs out of my lips when I'm about to lose you, he thought. Looking down at the golden valley, Sakura remembered. In a similar situation, he had shouted her name for the first time. He grabbed her hand, yet her glove slipped and she would have fallen down to the void. But luckily, Kirobera saved her. Until then, he didn't even call her anything. Yet afterwards, she asked if she could call him Syaoran. They started calling each other by their proper names, which proved how much closer they had gotten. Is this the same Syaoran that I used to know? Or is it someone different? Syaoran, your name has once more crossed my lips. She remembered. Sakura, I'll never let you go. His intense amber eyes and sincerity, as he grabbed her hands tighter when she dangled off the cliff, played before her eyes. He's trying to make it sound as if it doesn't matter. Does it? What's the matter? Syaoran had noticed every change in her expression. Well, I forgot to say this to you last night, since we were both so tired, but thank you. Thank you for all those times that you were there for me. For the first time in a year, Syaoran smiled one of his rare, true, happy smiles. It's all right. You know what I like about sunrises, Sakura? It's a new beginning of another day, where anything can await. A whole new day to forget the darkness of the night and erase all the pain and bitterness. It is something you can look forward to with a yearning smile. Do I make any sense? Yeah, I think I understand. Even if the day before went wrong, the sunrise can bring another chance to mend all the hardships. You can face a whole new day to start over again. There is never a dead end if there is a sunrise. You can seize the day and... Sakura gazed at Syaoran's intent profile as he gazed at the sky, taking the moment to see his face clearly. He still looked like the boy that she had first met, with the same deep amber eyes and chestnut locks which hung into his eyes. Yet, in his teens, he looked older, more experienced, and taller. Now he was several inches taller than her, with broader shoulders. She had grown, but so had he. His whole face seemed more mature, and his chin a bit more lean. The careless grin changed his whole features. Even the long scratch on the side of his face didn't mar the straight profile. Still, they both had a long way yet to grow and change. And I can get to know you all over again, Syaoran, and see who the real person hiding inside is. The end is a hated word, for I'm helpless to do anything. Yet, if there is a sunrise every day, I can always try harder and harder each new day. I know that we will face many more trouble, worse than anything that happened on this trip, but I won't give up. I'm glad you understand what I mean. Some people don't. Here, you're going to trip on those rocks. Step back a little. He held out a hand and Sakura leaned on it for a brief moment, and from behind some trees, a certain boy and girl with golden eyes watched with a frown at the sweet angel and almost gentle yet bold boy who balanced her. The blazing sun silhouetted their outline. Even further back, there was another girl who busily videotaped with a major zoom with sparkling eyes. You guys! Just then, the magic of the moment was ruined when Melanie came running to them. Wow! I finally found you guys! Where were you two? Everyone is frantic searching! From behind them, Eran and Erika appeared, as well as Terada-sensei and some other friends. Eran smiled and told the other, See, I told you I'd be able to find them. He looked mighty proud of himself when the teacher praised him. Sakura sighed. No matter how perfect Eran seemed, she could never forget that he knew he was perfect himself. Melanie continued. When Syaoran went out and Tomeo-chan followed, only Erika and me were left, and then Eran came back all worried, saying that you disappeared. We were all in despair, but finally the teachers found us. Everyone else was safe except for you two. We all split into search parties. Then she paused for a breath. Man, what happened to you two? You look, terrible. Syaoran and Sakura both exclaimed, Huh? Then they turned red, thinking about what they would look like to the others. Syaoran, shirtless, showing the bruises and cuts all over his body and the bandage, ripped up khaki pants with only one shoe on, scratched, dirt-covered, and bloody. Sakura, ripped up shirt, over large jacket, which belonged to Syaoran, torn shorts, bare feet, blood-soaked bandage on the head, shoulder, ankle, scrapes, mud, and a leaf stuck in her loose hair. And the result of sleeping on the ground. They both broke out nervous laughter. There was dead silence, and everyone looked mortified. Then Terada-sensei frowned. This is serious. Never did such a thing happen in an autumn trip. You two must have had an awful time. We need to get you warmly dressed and nursed and tucked in bed as soon as we get back. By this time, word had gone around that the missing students were found, and a crowd of teachers and students had gathered. Someone lent Syaoran a spare shirt. Sakura suddenly asked, Wait, where's Tomeo-chan? Frowning, Melanie replied, Oh no, I didn't see her since she ran out after Syaoran. There was a murmur of horror. Then an amused voice said, It's all right, I'm right here. With a rustle, Tomeo came out from behind a tree with her video camera. Tomeo-chan! What are you doing there? Sakura exclaimed. Videotaping, what else? I couldn't miss the great opportunity to tape out our brave heroine and her valiant knight. Tomeo, since when did you start taping us? Oh, I don't know, when Lee-kun caught you from falling off the cliff. Anyway, everything was so romantic, and the sunrise scene will become one of the most beautiful moments in the new movie that I am making about you. What? Don't worry, though. I fell asleep somewhere in the middle. Oh, I hope I didn't miss any significant parts, yet I do wish my video camera captured every moment, even while I was asleep. Do you know, Sakura-chan, that you were leaning against Lee-kun's shoulder when you were sleeping? Sakura immediately blocked Tomeo's mouth with her hand, turning red. She hissed, "Do you want everyone here to know what happened? Sheesh! You could have at least told us you were there." Smiling, Tomeo said, "Then I would have ruined the setting." Sighing, Sakura concluded that Tomeo was impossible. She felt cold just thinking about all the things that Tomeo could have heard and seen last night. At least people would stop staring at her. Soon, the whole middle school were back on the bus and on their way back home. It was almost as if nothing had happened, yet so much had happened in that trip. Maybe for the better. "You are not alone, Sakura." Fiddling with her hair, Sakura blushed. What did he mean? In the end, the time will come when death seems just around the bend. Things may seem hopeless for some, yet if you just wait until the sunrise, you will be back to where the beginning never dies, around the campfire.